Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Zappy here, back again with Hunter x Hunter. We're on episode 95, and I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today. If you notice that I look a bit out of it, that's the reason why. But I was much worse yesterday than I am today, so it seems like it's getting better, so we should be fine. So no need to worry. But the last episode, so Killua came. It seems like he's overcome the whole thing with the assassin. Sort of way that he was sort of brought up to be. Illumi had planted in, which was actually a pin. So last episode I thought it wasn't anything like a pin. It looked more like a thread to me. But somebody did tell me. I can't remember who it was. Sorry, you know who you are. Somebody did tell me that it was actually a pin. It just wasn't like one of the ones that he was using back in the Hunter exam to like change his appearance and stuff. Also told me that he's a manipulator as well, so it makes sense why he would be able to control Killua to some degree with that pin. So yeah, but we've got Killua back now, and it's great. And I still believe that in some way it was affecting him physically as well, like not being like basically and why can't I remember the word for it. It's on the tip of my tongue. Suppressing, that was it. Suppressing his power as well. I feel like he never really truly, like... I think it would have been more of a fight up against Ramud if he was like within that state. But I believe last episode I was talking about how it may just be that switch that he goes into like his assassin mode, which, when he does turn on, he's fucking crazy. Like his strength level goes up like tenfold. So I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think it was probably suppressing him physically as well as mentally, but who knows. And also the other thing was Cheetah was the Cheetah dude. I know he's got like another name, but I never wrote it down anywhere, and I can't remember what it is. So, but anyway, the Cheetah dude, the Chimera and the Cheetah, he's been causing chaos around, and he came up against Morel and Knuckle as well. So I guess we're going to get that fight this episode. So we'll see how that goes. Considering how fast Cheetah actually is, it's going to be interesting. But it is a 2-on-1 situation, so I don't see Morel or Knuckle dying here. You know what I mean? But the way this show has actually gone in this arc alone, maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but I can't see it. There's no way. Nah, I don't say it at all, because I think Morel's like too he's too high up, considering he's able to fight like alongside the likes of Netero and whatnot. I feel like he'll be fine. And Knuckle, just nah. Don't be getting rid of Knuckle right now. Just don't do it. I don't want to be depressed more than I already am, considering Kite. But anyway, yeah, I'm just waffling on. So we're going to get in episode 95 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 95. Right, well, I'd had a feeling that Gon was going to... I mean... I don't know what to do now, though. Because if they're heading... Well, they're already there. They're in the Republic of East Goto or whatever. I was thinking that Gon was going to face off against Kite first, but I guess not. I guess they're just keeping him out the way. I mean, I would assume that Shoot has put him back into the cage, because otherwise, where is he? I mean, they were talking about how he doesn't he won't do anything if as long as you don't get near him. So is he in a sort of like a stasis kind of mode where he'll just stay there and not move? But they couldn't. I don't know if it would have been the best idea just to leave him where he was. I've got to assume that he's got him inside the cage. But if he's going to go up against a royal guard, then I don't know. I'm just assuming that there's like only enough room in that cage for like the person that you're fighting at the time. But I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't expect Killua to go to that place again so soon. Um, but yeah, it made total sense when he was when it was flashbacking to that point, and then obviously Killua coming to stop Gon because he realised that Gon was heading to that place again. So yeah, it was something that was definitely needed. I just like the fact that he wanted to show him his resolve, and he didn't even need to do anything past just that. Because yeah, it was so much more powerful than the other times he's used it. Everyone was feeling it there. But I like how Gon was the only one that... No, sorry, Killua was the only one that, like, you know, wasn't sweating or shocked at what was happening, because he's the only one that's witnessed Gon almost go to that place, you know? So, you know, it's something he's already felt before. So yeah, it's definitely exciting times. I don't know if they've done it like on purpose to not have Gon fight Kite yet, because it's still within that sort of arc of, you know, because the arc started when they found Kite, so you know it's sort of Kite's arc as well. So I can see the arc ending with the Kite fight, because then that the whole arc comes full circle in that way. So it makes sense story-wise, I suppose, but also just keeping Gon in that state of, you know, because I thought when they were talking on the train about how, you know, they were talking about how then, like, you know, Shoot was like, well, I know Killua is fine, but Gon I'm still not too sure about yet. And Morel was talking about how, you know, he only gets, you know, serious when he has to, and how he's basically saving himself, or sort of like for that fight. But I also got the feeling that Gon, by still having Kite in that state, it will keep Gon in this sort of, in that mentality of like always going serious. I don't see how, you know, it's going to be crazy to see exactly how the fight goes with Neferpito. Now they've laid out what is the fights are going to happen. And because the narrator was the one basically, like, at the end there, basically saying that the like, you know, the fights have been laid out, I'm almost tempted to believe that, yeah, it's not going to be like a swerve and it's not going to happen the way that you would think. Like, I feel like they've already set it up sort of in the meta way, by having the narrator involved. So I don't see it being a case of like, because they haven't even gone out with a plan yet to distract them and take them away. So it's a 2-on-1v fight for all of them except for Netero, who's going up against Meruem, which, I mean, that is going to be an insane fight. But I'm also like tempted to believe that I don't see how, like, Netero wins that fight. He said he would struggle against the Royal Guards, so Meruem's just like the next level, like. And also, it'll be Meruem's, like, first fight. So if Netero wins, it's just going to be like, well, that was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? But I don't know. Like, we'll just have to wait and see about how they go. But yeah, I'm interested to see how Gon and Killua fare against Neferpito, because story-wise, it works to have them go up against her, because she's the one that, you know, took Kite's life. But it's just going to be, I feel like Gon, he's in that mentality now where I just think it's almost like a PTSD thing for him, that event. So when they eventually see each other, I almost see Gon like snapping again. At some point he is snapping in this fight. He's going to, right? Oh god. Right, so yeah. And then you've got Knuckle and Shoot versus Youpi. It's going to be interesting. That fight I'm looking forward to as well, because I feel like Knuckle and Shoot have these abilities that are so like, they're like, could you class them as like annoyances? Like, I just feel like that the Knuckle ability of where he gets that insurance thing attached to them, like, is just a... It's just such a crazy ability, especially to use on an opponent that is stronger than you. I mean, the only real thing about it is it's all dependent really on how much aura the person has access to, right? Because when he was fighting Gun, it was like, well, 10,000's the limit and that's it. So, you know, and that's obviously dependent on how much he had all round. And I can't remember the exact fucking numbers for the life of me. I think Gun had like 30,000 or something like that all. It was something like that anyway. And because all these Chimera ants seemingly when they're born, like they just have like more extensive power than, like, you know, just like the normal people. So like when, you know, Pockle was Etten, you know what I mean? The fact that went off into the king, like the king would have like got all of that sort of that power and whatever that you would get from Pockle, but then it's just like it's like multiplied. So they just have this like multiplication effect where they are just naturally stronger, and everything that they get, so their Nen would be stronger as well. So it's just it's going to be interesting to see if, you know, if Knuckle obviously does pull out that, which I feel like he would, because it's just a great tool to have, because you can add that, you can, you know, get that on, but then, you know, start, you know, attacking. Now that's another thing as well that Knuckle was talking about, is how it didn't he say that it's only really effective as long as he is stronger than the other person, because if Youpi is attacking back and, like, you know, more physically strong than Knuckle, then it works the opposite way, right? And you can take it off, I think. So that's the only thing. But then, you know, I think that one's going to be one, like, I think that one's going to be a very interesting fight, especially with Shoot's ability as well. I could see him Shoot like taking the wings off of Youpi, so he's not able to like fly around and stuff. Because I feel like Shoot and Knuckle are very melee heavy opponents. Like they don't seem to have like much in the way of range. I know Shoot's got his like hands and whatnot, but I don't think they can really go that far, right? I think they would. When he was fighting Killua, it was almost like just a distraction or use of a distraction. Now, it's not to say that they can't do anything. It might just be something that you just haven't seen yet. But regardless, I think it's going to be an interesting fight, as well as the Morel and Nov thing as well. Especially Nov, because I don't know what he like. Again, it's just one of those things where I haven't really seen a lot of them to say that, you know, he's able to do, you know, he would be able to overcome this. But I mean, we've only really seen him use the fucking teleportation thing where he sends him into to a different place. Now, of course, like that's not all he can have. He will have something that he can use. I don't know if Palm's going to be there. I mean, it's like they forgot about her. She was just in the background for one shot. So I don't know if she's going to be used in this. I mean, she uses like blood magic and stuff, right? So we've seen her use it once to track down where Killua was, but she's got to be able to use it in other ways, because she says it, because Nov classifies it as like special, so she's probably a specialist. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if that ever comes into play as well. And yeah, I find it also interesting that what you would consider the two most experienced and possibly the strongest out of the lot are going against the one royal guard that I feel like is the least important. I might be wrong there. I just don't think, like, Youpi is the one that came out last, and he like had this epic entrance. Nefa came out; she also had an epic entrance. When Shia came out, he kind of just showed up. Like there wasn't, you know. Now that could be you know, that. See, that's the thing. That could be classed as a good thing or a bad thing. The fact that we haven't seen, like, a lot of them, can also mean that he's, like, insanely strong. Well, of course he's going to be insanely strong. Like, you know, it's not like he's going to be weak, is it? But again, like, I end up doing this a lot. Like, I end up trying to figure out, like, the sort of this how strong characters are in relation to each other, and it's so hard to figure out in this show. You know, but yeah, I mean, regardless, it is going to be interesting because just like, you know, just like Nove, like, we haven't really seen a lot of Shy either, so it's going to be interesting to see how they fight up against each other. So yeah, there's that. Now we've got. I had a question about what was it? Was it episode 93? Yeah, it was 93. So when they were talking about they made the meat plantation at Palace, now I was talking in the post discussion there about how I was unsure of, like, how good of a location that is for a meat plantation, because you'd have to, because the place itself is in the middle of nowhere, and you would have to go out and just bring people here. But the fact is that they've got Nefer Pito using that Diego guy, the fucking leader of the, you know, the whatever the fuck, using him as a puppeteer as well to get people to come. So he's able, like, Nefer is able to make them talk as well. Because I would have to assume the invitation was, like, vocalized. You know, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it, because see, when I look at the likes of Kite, I don't. It's tough to look at him and like be like, yeah, he's normal. You know, but Diego looks completely normal. So I don't know if she's just, because of the amount of time it's been, she's been able to sort of, like, you know, use her Nen better with that and make it more lifelike. I don't know. But yeah, so the puppeteer thing, that whole thing is level 2. Does that mean it's a level 3? And if they're using that obviously to train the other ants and stuff like that, yeah, like, if obviously if it's meant to activate level 2 when you touch them, which in the same sort of vein is like hitting him, right? So basically you've gotten past the first level. Now, you know, now he's at his next stage and he's stronger. So I'm interested. I don't know why there would be a level 1 and a level 2 and that would be it. Honestly, I would not be surprised if there's more levels there. Like, possibly to the point where Kite gets to, like, his full, you know, sort of basically at the height that he was when he was alive. So yeah, there was definitely nothing left of Kite in there at all. And I'm happy that they pointed it out. And even though it was more clear with Killua, obviously saying, like, you know, it's possible Gon has already figured this out and just taken a beating because I don't know, it could be in a way of, like, letting Kite sort of beat, you know, that fact into him, you know, because it's tough to take. You know, but I think, yeah, I would say as soon as both Killua and Gon saw Kite, that I figured that was it. You know, I figured they knew from that point on. So yeah. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The last real thing is what was obviously happening at the beginning with the cheetah dude. Now, Knuckle added the tax to the cheetah, so I'd assume that it's going to just stay there, even though, again, it's like if Shoot has Kite within his cage. It was just something that I wonder is if, like, would it not just dissipate when he starts fighting and uses it on somebody else? But I guess not, because they've already set it up that, you know, the cheetah will have it on him, you know. So now there is, like, a sort of distance thing. It would just stop adding tax, like, onto it while they're not within, like, a certain distance of each other. But you can still use it to track it, so that's good. The only thing is that I'm just thinking, like, is it not a case of, like, would that not be affecting Knuckles' sort of aura by that thing staying around, Like, would it be slightly depleting Knuckles' aura as it's active? I don't know. Maybe if it's within, like, that distance that he was talking about, and maybe it just becomes, like, sort of kind of obsolete both ways when they're out of that distance, aside from obviously it being there and just, not leaving. But yeah, we'll have to see. I talked about it in the reaction, but I like the adapting to the speed thing, and Morel and Knuckle basically like working in sync without talking to each other, because like with Knuckle being the underling for Morel, they kind of just know each other that well that Morel would know where Knuckle was going to go, which would force the cheetah dude to dodge to a certain point, and Morel would already be on the attack from there. So I like that, even though they couldn't just because he was too fast. Still, it was still just good to see. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh yeah, Gohan basically saying that I want that one myself. So yeah, it's one of those things where with that quote right there, the Gohan knows it's not Kite anymore. So he's not going to refer to it as Kite because it's that one, But yeah, I mean, I feel like that fight is going to end off the arc, I think. So yeah, and considering what we're about to, what's about to happen with these fights, I feel like these are going to take place like very soon. So, I mean, oh god, these fights are good. I think they're going to be insane. I think these are going to be the best fights of the show. So I'm excited. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's all I've got for this episode. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there. And I also have a Patreon page as well where you can support me. So if you don't want to support me, I would very much appreciate. There is a bunch of different tiers there, like early access, $5 a month, gives you access to shows a week early, and you get 4 episodes of Hunter x Hunter every week, as opposed to the usual 2 that the general public get. So by the time this episode comes out on YouTube for the general public, you can go over, become an early access tier patron, and have access to like the rest of the show and reactions. So if you can, binge watch the whole thing within a month, it's only going to cost you $5 for the rest of the show in reactions. So it's a pretty good deal. There's also $10 there for full length. That doesn't matter for this show, but for other ones you will need that. And then there are other tiers where you can pay to have me react to a certain show as well. So you can go have a look at those. But that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.